Today I'm going to show you how you can replace a broken coil spring on either the front or the rear of your car. Now we're going to begin on the back of this Toyota here, and it's going to be the same process for any vehicle with a rear torsion beam suspension. First thing you want to do is lift up the vehicle as high as you can. We've got some 6-ton jack stands here that brings it up nice and high because we're going to need a lot of room to work underneath. And we'll remove the wheel. And with that we can see the coil spring. It's actually broken down at the bottom here. Now this vehicle uses a rear torsion bar suspension, which means that we have this torsion bar that runs over to the other side, and it's only attached to the body with these two bushings. We've got the spring here that sits in its spring seat, and then further back here we have the shock absorber. So in order to release the spring, we're going to have to remove the shock absorber, but in order to do that we're going to have to compress the spring slightly by putting a jack underneath. And here's a closer look at that broken spring. You can see there's just so much rust that builds up in this area, causing this piece to become completely loose. Now this here is the nut and pin that holds the shock absorber to the torsion beam, so we're going to have to remove it and pop this shock absorber out in order to release the tension here. We'll just spray that down with some PB blaster and the washer. Now in order to get the tension off the shock and get it off, I'm going to put a jack underneath the torsion arm here and then just jack it up slightly just to get the pressure off of it. And then I should be able to remove the shock itself. Now I'm going to slowly lower the jack. That should release the tension from the spring. That's probably not enough tension to get the spring out, so I'm going to have to undo the other side since I'm going to be changing both of these anyways. Now make sure you also undo this ABS wire. So with the other side released, I can just push down on this torsion beam here, and the old spring literally just falls right out. And you can see I've got the other piece of it that broke off there. So you can see on the old spring here where the corrosion just made its way through, and just snap the spring at the bottom here. You can see on the spring from the other side in the same spot, it's just starting to rust in this area, and eventually this will crack too. Now I got my replacement springs from Mevotech, and you can see it comes with this little warning tag that tells you that the white part is supposed to be on the top of the vehicle. You can see that this little white mark here is what we're going to face the top of the vehicle. Now the instructions also say that the older taper edge is interchangeable with just the regular rounded edge. You can see this is the old versus the new spring. They have the same amount of coils, but I'm wondering if overall it might sit a little bit higher just because this spring is newer and these older springs tend to sag a little. Now to put the spring in, I have to start at the top and seat it in the upper spring seat, and then I'm going to pivot it into the lower spring seat by putting a little bit of weight on the knuckle to push down on the torsion beam. So over here on this side I had Dad push down on this drum here while I pushed this spring in, and then we held it down with this jack. So we got the spring in on that side, and I'm using the jack to hold it in so it doesn't fall out. And now we're going to go work on this side. And over on the driver's side here, again, make sure that these are lined up with the rubber, and the pan at the bottom here has a notch in it where the spring ends. We just use the crowbar here to get us some extra leverage to push this down, and then I was able to pop the bottom of the spring into the pan. And in my opinion, Toyota did a pretty bad job with routing this brake line wire so close to this coil spring. It almost grazes when you try to get the spring in and out. And now I'm just going to jack up the wheel. Now is also a good time to check your shocks. You can see this one's pretty blown. It doesn't really return as fast. Hey, look what just showed up. It's these new shocks from KYB. Got the new mounting hardware over here, and this nut is going to mount to the body side, and this one's going to mount to the torsion bar down below. You can definitely feel how much harder this new shock is to push down and to rebound compared to the old worn one. Now accessing this rear top nut on this van is pretty easy. Just pop off this little access panel and remove this little plug here, and you've got access to that nut. So now I'll just reconnect the shock on this side here, and then install the washer, and then install this nut. Now I can lower the jack. And now we'll just tighten up that nut. Now we're going to replace the wheel, and now we'll lower the vehicle. Now you might notice with the new springs that the van might sit a little bit higher in the back or ride a little bit stiffer. That's just because of the differences in the springs between worn out OEM springs and the aftermarket springs. The last step will be to take the vehicle for a test drive to make sure everything's okay. The springs will take its time to settle over the next few weeks. In order to show you how to replace front springs, we're going to turn over to my Toyota Camry. Now this procedure is going to be the same for any vehicle with a McPherson front suspension. Let's remove the wheel. So my wife was driving and she hit a pothole and it broke the spring here. You see there's a rust spot over here where the spring actually snapped, and the top rung of the spring here actually fell down below along with the spring seat here. So this is actually kind of dangerous because the McPherson strut has a preload. We might actually have to use a little bit of spring compressors here to squeeze the spring down in order to get this entire strut assembly out. Now with any Canadian car, we're going to first start by spraying everything down with some PV blaster. I'm going to undo this 12mm bolt for the brake line. Hopefully it doesn't snap on me. Next up I'm going to undo this 10mm bolt that holds the ABS sensor on, and then I'm going to move this ABS sensor out of the way so it doesn't get damaged. So I've got my 18mm socket on there. I'm just going to blast off this stabilizer link nut. I've got a set of vice grips on there coming with my 18 once again. So I've got a hex inside of the ball stud here, and my 18mm wrench. And with that on there, I cannot even loosen this. Ugh. Well, it looks like putting that vice grip on there tore my boot. And although the stabilizer link is good, an open boot is going to cause dirt and dust to go in there. And this thing's going to wear out pretty quick. So next up, we need to remove the two big strut nuts at the bottom here. Now we're not going to pound out the bolts yet because this is under tension. I'm just going to loosen up these nuts. So I'm going to see what I can do here with this breaker bar. Oh, it actually broke free. Oh, maybe didn't tighten that down tight enough in my last video. So here I've got a set of spring compressors that I'm going to put onto the spring. We're just going to fish this compressor around this side, my safety pins in. Now we're going to want to have the spring compressors 180 degrees apart from each other, just for safety. I'm going to slowly start to compress either side, just to get some of this pre-tension off. We don't need to completely compress the spring right now, it's just a safety so that we can get the strut out of this wheel well. I've got a jack onto this lower ball joint just for safety. Now I'm going to release these two strut nuts. The strut is more or less in its place over there and held on by the top mount, so we're going to release that next. Now the top of the strut, there's three 14mm nuts that we need to remove. Alright, so now I can remove this entire assembly here. And with the strut removed, you can see that the spring compressors didn't really do much. You can see this here is where the issue is. The spring actually broke here in this spot where it got rust. And that's probably because water just drains in this area and slowly causes it to rust. Now you can see that this top plate here actually skipped down with the rest of the broken spring. And the top of the spring, instead of touching the body itself, actually just rested up against here. So the spring compressors were just a precaution. So here I've got the strut removed from the vehicle. I'm going to use some spring compressors here so we can release the tension from the strut and then just lock these safety pins down. Now these safety pins just prevent this whole thing from slipping off this way, and instead it will rotate around here in case it does decide to slip. Now this is going to be pretty dangerous, so you're going to want to have this facing away from you, not towards you, and you're going to tension these alternately. So now that the spring is completely free of tension from the strut, we're then going to remove this nut on the end here to remove the mount. Now we can remove the mount. So since this spring is no good, I'm going to decompress it. And then I'll just disassemble this broken piece here. And that's the top plate. And this is the bearing that was sitting on that top plate. The bearing itself is still pretty good, and the upper strut mount itself is pretty good, and it could be reused, but I'm going to be replacing these. And this here is the spring where it failed. You could see just how rusty it was in that area, and it just took one good hard bump to crack it. Alright, so here are my replacement parts. I got these from Mevotech. We got front coil springs here. We have the bellows that are worn out, and we have the strut mounts that we're all going to replace in this car. Now these are a universal style of bellows, so it does come with this zip tie, and it comes with a new bump stop as well as the boot. Inside the strut mount box, of course, we have the strut mount itself, as well as a new bearing. Now this new bearing's got this little dust ring on it, and you got to remember that it's got to face down when you're installing the strut. Now this here is the old shock. Now it is kind of worn out when you press down on it. It kind of takes a little while to rebound back to position. We're going to replace this bump stop on the end here. And you can see all the material in there that's kind of worn down over the years. So I found out it's actually a bit easier to put this bump stop inside of the boot itself and then pop it onto the strut just like that. And then once that's on there, we can just move this down, making sure it sits inside of the notch. Inside the box here we have the two coil springs. They are sold in pairs, which means that we're going to have to be doing this job twice, even though only one side is broken. So here we've got the new spring from Mevotech compared to the old spring. You can see this one looks like it's a larger diameter with the least number of turns. That's called a variable rate spring. And this one here is a constant rate spring where the number of coils and turns is more consistent. Now it also appears that there's no top and bottom to these. This one kind of has a flat edge over here, but over here it just kind of stops. In terms of the spring seat, it doesn't really fit on this side, so I'm assuming this spring is directional because it fits nice and snug on this side. Now I'm going to clean up that bearing surface with a little bit of brake cleaner and what's left of my brother's old wedding shirt. Now you notice on the spring seat it says outside, and that's going to have to point to the outside of the vehicle because this is kind of on an angle here. Now you'll see that the radius of the new spring does not really match the radius of the old spring quite as good. Just try to do my best to line it up. Now I know springs do sag after a while, but the new spring is quite a bit taller than the old spring, so I'm going to expect my Camry to ride like a monster truck. Now I'm going to install the spring compressors so we can compress this brand new spring. This side here, and then just pre-torque that down. Alright, so now with the spring removed from the strut, I'm going to give it a little tighten here. Now to assemble the upper mount, we have this part here which faces the inside of the vehicle, and these two face the outside of the vehicle. I'm going to install the bearing, again with the dust shield facing downward, and then this outside part here, marking, is going to line up like that on the outside there. Now we're coming with the strut. Again, these two bolts here face the outside, which is going to correlate to the outside on the top of the strut mount. And then install that here. I'm going to thread this nut onto the top here. We'll tighten. I'm now going to release the tension from the spring slowly. Probably can't even get a socket on there. So I'm going to have to do it the old school way with an open-ended wrench. So this compressor here is loose. And there we have the completed strut ready to be installed in the vehicle. So now it's time to replace the coilover assembly into the shock tower. And then at the top here we'll just thread these on loosely. So next up I'm going to remove this bungee cord here. And I'm going to carefully place the knuckle into the strut. And it helps if you do have a jack to kind of wiggle this into place here. And we'll replace this 22mm nut. Now the torque spec on this is really tight. Now I'm going to replace the ABS sensor, and it's 10mm bolt. I'll just clip that ABS line in there, and now I'll just put the ABS line and the brake line back into this 12mm bolt. So for the replacement stabilizer link, I'm using a Mevotech TTX product. You can see this one's way heavier than this other one here that I took off. Comes with its own nylock nuts, and bonuses, these ones are serviceable. They even come with these little grease fittings that you can just thread on like that. Now because we live in Canada and I don't want to replace these stabilizer links again, I'm going to slather this with some anti-seize. So I'm just going to install this stabilizer link. First I'll put it into the sway bar down below here. So what I like about these TTX ones is you can put a wrench behind here on wrench flats and then just tighten the nut down like this. That way you don't have to worry about stripping out that hex like we did on the old one. Now I'll install the wheel, and now we'll lower the vehicle. This new spring sure did raise the ride height of this vehicle. Look at that wheel gap. Now with the vehicle resting on its own weight, we're going to tighten up these four 14mm nuts. And now I'm going to give the wheels a final torque to 80 foot-pounds. And the last step is to take your new monster truck for a ride to make sure there's no suspension clunks and everything is working properly. So I took the Camry for a test drive and I noticed that there's clunks coming from both sides. And then I took apart the strut and I realized that I actually forgot to put in the upper spring isolator. So make sure you forget this. This actually isolates the top plate from the spring, otherwise you're going to have clanking sounds. And that's pretty much how to replace a broken coil spring on the front or the rear of your car. Now make sure you follow me on Instagram for more behind the scenes footage and subscribe for more videos just like this one.